Welcome, wherever you find yourself in the world watching us tonight. This is AF4343, episode 141. Um, it's been a great weekend for me personally, and for my trusted co-host, Siad. A great weekend for you as well. How are you doing, sir?
Yeah, all good, man. All good. A nice weekend. Yeah, obviously we'll discuss it as we go, but I think definitely a lot greater for you. So let's see how we can talk about that a bit more.
Yeah, for sure. And then we also have somebody that probably didn't have the great weekend. We have Sripad here representing the Chelsea contingent. How are you doing?
Doing better right now. I think Saturday was a proper low. Didn't expect that coming. But then, yeah, we bounced back.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Always thinking glass half full, eh? I love that from you. Like I can take that from your tweets as well. You're always looking at the silver lining for everything, no matter if you guys lose, if you guys throw. You're always looking at things that come out positively out of the game. We're just gonna do a bit of a review for the weekend. Sripad, I think I'll start with you here. Like, were there any games that sort of stood out for you, firstly, and then we can move on to the Chelsea stuff after that.
Uh, Not so much after the Chelsea game. I properly switched off. I don't uh, I don't recollect any of the matches actually this weekend. I have to like properly check the scoreline or something to even remember the matches. Apart from United, Brighton, and Aston Villa versus City, I don't recollect any of the other scorelines. I've stopped watching Arsenal matches. It's like just plain boring. Liverpool Brentford was good, but yeah, apart from that, I don't remember anything else.
Do you want to speak a bit about Arne Slot and Liverpool, Siad? We have Atspad here in the chat, so maybe you
Yeah, I
can
don't
talk
think
talk
Asfar
to
will
their
disappear.
situation at the moment.
I don't think Azzy will disappear. But yeah, I mean, it was a rough October for Liverpool with all the losses. And now we're seeing all the discussions about transitions and about new players and about losing Jota, which is kind of true, but also wasn't there when they were top of the log and 5 points clear. And I saw a comment now from Ramesh that the season is long, and that's exactly what it is. It's a marathon, man, and I think in the media they often jump to conclusions or narratives very quickly. So with Slot, I think what we're seeing is what we thought we'll see last season when we thought that transition will come. But if you look at what he's been doing, he kind of kept it simple last season, didn't make too many changes. I think other than reinvigorating Gravenberch in the midfield, he didn't do much else with the team and basically kept the tactics the same as what Klopp was doing. Whereas this season now, he's got tons of new players. There's pressure from two players who signed big contracts. There's players who are bought on big money that you kind of have to fit into the team. And as much as I wasn't a big Trent fan in terms of his defense, you can see that he's being missed from his creative outlet, kind of where everything started. So, I mean, with Liverpool, there's so many things you can talk about, but like a lot of people are saying, you win the title in your first season, you kind of do have a line of credit that you've
Yeah.
probably gained, and we'll have to see. This next month is obviously going to be critical for them if they can figure it out and string a couple of good performances together. But there's definitely a lot more to worry about than I think you'd want to if you were defending a title and you spend this amount of money and this quality that was brought in.
It's interesting that like you bring in the quality. Like Ikitike came from the Bundesliga. Wirtz came from the Bundesliga. Ikitike has sort of hit the ground running. He's, I think, been the best signing of the summer. Somebody like Alexander Isak, obviously, there's big money behind him. He lit the Premier League alight for the past couple of seasons at Newcastle. Sleeper, what do you think has gone wrong for Alexander Isak since he's moved to Liverpool?
I think Isaac, it's mainly down to his fitness. I don't think the lack of preseason has really affected him. I think he'll hit the ground running maybe after the November break. Because right now it's like it's obviously new environment and all that, but still I think he was at that level where he could have just, if he had a proper preseason, it'd have been a smooth transition for him from Newcastle to Liverpool. But then that's what I think. Preseason is the main thing. I think he's not having that fitness right now, and but maybe the pressure also. This is the first time I actually recollect him having proper pressure for the role, because Ekitike started well, so now it's like Isaac has to perform. Not that until now, if he had done well, he was getting the praise. If he had not done well, people are happy to protect him, saying he's done well so far. He has that like Singh Zaid said about Arne Slot. He had a line of credit there, where if he had a couple of poor performances, people were like, it's okay, it's Isaac, he'll get back to scoring. But right now, the Liverpool fans, first of all, the results are not going their way, so they want someone to step up. Salah is not able to do that on the left. Gakpo is trying, but then they have issues with him, that he's not making the right decisions a lot. So the all the and like Florian Wirtz is not able to do much from the attacking midfield role as well. So all the pressure comes down on the striker role, where Isaac is already under pressure, and now he has Ekiteke challenging him for the place. So that is also probably playing on his mind.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think like I've seen this from quite a few Liverpool fans over the past week, for Mo Salah to be dropped? Is that something that Arne Slot should do, or should he sort of just keep him in the team, hoping that he plays himself into form? He scored a goal over the weekend, but other than that, there were misplaced passes. He just didn't look comfortable on the ball for the most part. So, do you think Slot should just keep at it with him and hope that he plays himself into form? Ziad, you can jump in if you want to as well.
So the issue for me there is that there's no proper replacement for Salah. It's not there's not even like, so like if on the left side, if Slot decides to drop Gakpo, he can at least try Ngumoa, even if Chiesa is in unavailable, he can at least try Ngumoa over there to do something. But on the right, they don't have an option. After Salah, the next best option on the right wing was Harvey Elliott, and now he's gone to uh, Leipzig,
Wait,
right? I think, yeah,
no, no.
yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah, Leipzig, yeah.
yeah, so yeah, he's gone. So now the next best option for them is Frimpong. And if Frimpong comes and plays on the as a right winger, and Bradley gets injured, then there's no one to play at the right back as well. So I think the squad planning is a bit iffy in that place. But yeah, in terms of form, I think yes, Salah should be dropped, but then nobody else is also there to step up and deliver in that role. So I think Salah will just continue playing in the Premier League, if not the Champions League.
Ziad, anything that you'd want to add on the Salah topic before we move on?
Yeah, I think Frimpong is probably the best option to play in that spot. We've seen how well he plays when he does get the opportunity to push forward like that, and also he does what I think Salah used to do quite a bit. Is great at width. So Frimpong likes to get to the touchline, and stay out wide. Whereas I think Salah's pace has dropped just a little bit, so he tends to find himself a bit more inside. And again, there's that confidence thing. There's the fatigue that catches up. But it is tough. We always have this conversation: do you drop the legend or not? And I think the only way you can successfully rotate a guy like that out of your team is if there are people who are pushing him out. And like Sripad said, the alternative hasn't proven to be better yet. So if a guy is like on insane form, then Salah can be pushed out. But currently, when everyone's not performing, it's kind of hard to make him the scapegoat, because, like
Yeah,
Slot has that credit, Salah too has that credit. So ideally, what you want to see is a guy like Isak or Gakpo, or someone really step up and kind of grab the team. And then suddenly you're looking at Salah and saying, look, the other guys are playing high, at a high level. You need to either step up or you need to then sit out a bit. But currently, I don't think they can drop him. For me, Gakpo has been one of their bright spots. I think he's been really good off the left. Yeah, obviously, I think it was it the last game where he hit the post 3 times, or was it
Yeah,
against United?
it was
I can't
against
remember which
United.
game it was.
It was
Against
against
United, he hit
United.
the post 3 times. He's looked good. Obviously, Szoboszlai has been the best player for Liverpool this season. But yeah, the rest of it has been a bit tough to watch, I guess.
That's fair. Sripad, you
Like
have
the
quite a
other
few
option,
fans in the chat today, calling you a Giroud Indian edition.
Giroud. That's a first. I've been called Luis Suarez. I've been called Samir Nasri, but Giroud is like new. I'm not called Giroud so far. And I think, yeah, Giroud is one of the best looking footballers. So I obviously take that compliment.
Take
Though I
it.
don't think, though I don't think it's true, but I'll take it. But yeah, in getting back to Liverpool, I think the other option Slot has is to go with a narrow formation where he has Ikitike and Isaac starting, where both the wingers are dropped and Florian Wirtz is the free role there. But the issue there is that I did a small check on Slot, and he's stuck with 4-3-3 since the last 3 seasons. Like even at Feyenoord and at Liverpool, he's always opted for that 4-3-3, or the only other formation change he's done is a 4-2-3-1. So even in that, it's not like he's given up on the wingers. He's always had a sort of options on the wings on both sides. He's not played with a two-striker formation. So if he has to do that at Liverpool, I think that is something. It'll be a drastic change, which I don't think he'll want, especially with the form going down with 4 losses in the league on the bounce. It's like it's not the time for a manager to experiment. So he'd probably stick with his best players. Maybe drop I think Isaac for Ekitike because the Frenchman is in the better form. Apart from that, I don't think he'll make a lot of changes.
I think what a lot of people are forgetting as well is in the first like 4 or 5 games, the games where Liverpool were winning in the 93rd minute, 95th minute, the 100th minute, they had Allison in goal, and Allison was making vital saves like all throughout the 90 minutes every single game. Mamadashvili, even though I think he's going to eventually be a good keeper, I think he's still finding his way. He is making a couple of mistakes, and he is letting in goals that Allison definitely would have saved. The goal against United, the Mbuemo first goal, that was basically straight through his legs, something like that. Allison saves that all day, every day. So I think like it's fine margins, and if Allison was still a goalkeeper, I think we'd be having a different conversation about Liverpool. But at the moment, they aren't scoring goals, and then they're leaking very, very silly soft goals as well. Um, just checking in the chat here if there's any questions.
Yeah, well, there's
And
no real questions. There's just some crazy comments. Welcome, Jason. Watching us
Harry,
from
man,
honeymoon, I guess.
yeah,
Oh,
he
congrats,
actually
Jason! I didn't know that.
he just wanted to show his face here. We appreciate it. We love that. Moving on to speaking about Chelsea a bit. But before we do that, if you are new to the channel, if this is the first time you're watching any of our lives, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button, share our video, tell people about our channel, tell people to come watch us. We do appreciate that. Sripad, talk to me about your team. What is happening with Chelsea at the moment? It feels like a roller coaster. It feels like every week you don't know what you're going to be getting from the team. I'd like you to go a bit into detail about that.
And I think this is something I expected with the best defender, the best attacker, and the best striker out. So it's not something that like it's everyone is fit and we are not getting the results. It's like it's a bit of a like mismatch. I'll say Maresca has got things wrong, especially like in the United game where he panicked and made substitutions. In the Brighton game as well, where the red card affected, where Chalobah did not think Chalobah and Santos they made the decisions they made were wrong. That resulted in it. So I'm not really worried about the Chelsea form because they have the performances are decent. It's just that they're not able to cope with the long balls and the long throws. That is something they need to work on. The set piece coach has to step up and deliver there. But apart from that, I think the core of the team is set right now, and they have started to show that they have the leadership skills to handle the pressure from now on. And like I said in the think previous think live session I was here, we're not in the title. We're not challenging for the title, but I think we will be there until the end, where we are in the top three.
We have a question here about Chelsea's record of 15 goals conceded for the season. Do you think that Arsenal will beat that record this season? I think Arsenal's only conceded 3 thus far, and that's in 9 game weeks. I don't know if you want to answer that, Siad, if you want to answer that from an Arsenal perspective.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I think
again
let's see how the
long
answer
season,
first.
so I don't. 15 goals is very little, so I think it will be hard to do. But if we keep going at this rate, I think we can stand at 20. But yeah, I think that record won't. I don't think we can beat that record. That was phenomenal.
Yeah, and then Siad, if you can just give a bit of input into how you, like, from your perspective as an Arsenal fan. I know there is some London rivalry there. Is there anything for Chelsea fans to worry about with the state of Chelsea's play at the moment? Some players don't look up to it. Some players look more than up to it. But I mean, there is an imbalance somewhere within the side.
Look, I mean, we've said this many times with Chelsea. It's fairly simple, right? With the amount of turnover they have in players, it is very hard to get that rhythm in. And then when you throw in the injuries, you're kind of gonna see results like this until you can have a consistent group of players to work with. I think you'll see the results improve. So for me, the biggest thing is just the back four. I think it's they do play a back four, yeah, most of the time at least. If you can just find some consistency there, right, then I think that will feed into the rest of the squad because they have talent. Like I like Estevao. I think he's really exciting. Obviously, Cole Palmer when he's fit. Their midfield is decent most of the time. Obviously, we tend to look at it through the lens of how much it costs to put the team together, as opposed to just looking at the actual talent on the field, right? Because when we talk about Caicedo, was wanted by a lot of teams, but then we look at the price and we see it differently. But he's up there. He's one of the better midfielders in the league. Enzo, I'm not a fan of, but he does pull through fairly often. So I don't think I'd worry too much if I was a Chelsea fan, because I think when you get to the end of the season, Sripad's probably going to be spot on and they're going to be somewhere up there in the top 4, top 5. So it's more about how they're going to end the season. The obvious thing from, I suppose, fans from the outside would be that if you go win the Club World Cup and you're world champs for lack of a better word, but it is what it is, then it's kind of hard to see how you're sitting ninth in the league. You know what I mean? But in all honesty, I don't think anyone read too much into the Club World Cup. So yeah, I think pretty much value for where they are, but I don't see them staying there. And they'll definitely move up once they just get a consistent run of fixtures with a group of players who are fit, their best 11 to 15 players.
Yeah, we have
The
another comment here in the chat. Chelsea really are away from a solid centre back to get back to challenge for the title. What do you guys think? We have spent a lot but failed to address the centre back issue. What are your thoughts? Sripad, I'll let you take that one.
the center back issue again, like we spoke in the previous stream. I didn't think it'll be this bad. I didn't expect Tosin's form to drop this badly, nor with Chalobah as well. With Coville out, yes, I think there should have been a spontaneous they should have gone for someone how Arsenal got Hincapié on loan. I think they could have gone for a loan deal if they didn't think the permanent signing was needed. The issue again there was that Chelsea could not spend as much as they wanted to in the summer. They had to keep a positive net spend for the UEFA ruling. So that was an issue big time. The what most Chelsea fans will point out to is that they didn't need to sign both Gittins and Garnacho, so that money could have been spent on a centre back. Again, that's a valid reason in a way, but when you look at the long term things, that that creates unnecessary issue for next season, because right now we have for the left centre back we have Badishil and Colwell. Unfortunately, both are out, so that gap over there has now been filled by Chaloba and Tosin. Both have not been informed. And for the right centre back, we have Josh, who's doing brilliantly, and I think Wesley. Wesley, he was doing well till that concussion thing happened. So since then, I don't think he's played. So I think he'll be back tonight when we play against Wolves. So, and then the other issue, the future issue that could have that could have been unnecessarily created if they signed a new centre back, would have been the use of Mamadou Sarr, who's been brilliant for Strasbourg. So, and then we signed him. Not sure what made them loan him back. I think after even if they had pre-planned it, I think after Cole's injury, they should have kept him, because he is someone who could have done well. Same, just like I think he and for me, even Jorel Hato, both of them are in a similar position. So I think if you were keeping Hato for the left back position, I think you could have kept Mamadou Sarr. Even if he has played a lot on the right, he's a young centre back and he's good with both feet. So they could have tried him for the left centre back role. And the other option that Chelsea do have is Anselmino. He's been brilliant for Dortmund. Again, the issue with him is similar to Wesley Fofana, injury issues. He is not fit consistently. That was an issue with Boca also when he was there. So that is a big worry. So unless one of them, I think next summer, if this season does not go well for the in terms of centre back roles, I think this will be the final season for many of them, especially the likes of Wesley, because he costs a lot. He's on a big contract in terms of wages. So if he's not consistently fit, I think he will be out of the door. Tosin, I don't know, maybe Cole Palmer's friendship keeps him at the club for another season. Maybe his experience keeps him for another season. Chaloba, he has to do a little more than what he's doing. He's making these same errors that he was doing a couple of seasons back. So that he needs to cut them out. And unless that happens, I think he'll also be out of the door. And then it's Benoit Badiashile. He will have to start becoming, like, he needs to maintain his fitness, or else he'll also be out of the door.
Do you think that there's any way back for Axel Disasi? Like, if
No.
like Chelsea has so many games in December, they're going to need to like stretch their squad, like especially their defense with so many people injured. I saw this morning there's reports that Maresca wants to reintegrate Raheem Sterling back into the team. But
No.
do you think that there's any way back for Axel Disasi?
No, I don't think Sterling and Disasi are ever going to come back into the Chelsea side, because both of them burned the bridge with Maresca. Not just the board, they burned the bridge with Maresca when they forced their loan moves. Sorry, not Sterling. It was Vega and Axel Disasi who forced the loan moves in January this year. So those two burned the bridges. Vega has been sold. Disasi had options, but then Monaco only wanted him on loan. They didn't want to sign him permanently, and Chelsea didn't have a spot open for him with this FIFA rule of 7 loans. So they didn't want to waste one loan on a player that has no future at the club. So then he was free to leave. Disasi was free to leave, but because Maresca has made clear that he will not add him back. Same with Sterling. Regardless of what happens on the left wing, I think he will not get a chance.
Cool. I think that's all for Chelsea for now until we get to the preview a bit later. Ziad, I'm gonna flip the mic over to you to give you the floor a bit about Arsenal's relentless form. Just speak to me about the feeling that you have with Arsenal being so tightly, like, so safe at the back in terms of defense. Like, you guys have leaked like silly goals over the years, and there's been this indecisiveness with your defense over the years. But to see the fact that Saliba and Gabriel both fit, just on the same page all the time. You guys look like you hardly going to ever concede every single game. How's that feeling, and is that filling you with any sort of optimism, or do you not want to get ahead of yourself?
Now, look, you know me, I like defending. You know, Jason will always tell you I like a good tackle. But I think just from that, like, obviously fitness plays a role. So you got the guys fit playing more regularly. Like I was saying earlier with that back four, and if you include the goalkeeper, if you can keep that consistent, you get sort of that consistency in terms of a performance become hard to break down, and then that confidence kind of goes through the rest of the team because if you know the guys behind you are going to keep the ball out of the net, you know, it just gives a bit of confidence. And also, like when we're watching as a fan, it's good to know that you know that they're defending well, but it's not impossible to score. I mean, the longer you have possession, the further up you go, and then the teams hit the ball over the top. And we've seen, I've actually noticed Saliba struggle a bit with this in recent times, just keeping at defender goal side. I mean, the attacker goal side, and he's got away with a couple of interesting chases running back towards goal. But other than that, not much to worry about, I guess. And we conceded that set piece goal against Newcastle, right, where Valtemada got the better of Gabriel, which I thought
Yeah,
he just went down too easy. But other than that, it's been pretty solid. For me, I've really liked Timber. The fact that he's been fit, he's been really good at right back, and yeah, it's just been solid. You kind of watching games thinking you're probably not going to concede, but yeah, anything can happen. You know, Saliba went off at halftime. Mosquera came on, he filled in really well. Um, but yeah, it's still long, man. Like someone said earlier, I think it was the season is long, so
yeah.
I think we can keep the defensive intensity up. I think it's become a bit of a culture. Everyone buys into it and the effort it takes, you know, as a team. So yeah, I mean, obviously it means that people like Sripad aren't gonna watch anymore, but I can live with that as long as I get the 3 points. I don't need other people to watch.
I think somebody like Calafiori's been like my standout Arsenal player of the season because like one moment he'll be in his left back position, like at his own corner flag defending, and then like 30 or 40 seconds later he's in the opposition's box getting ready to take a shot. And like his recovery is so insane as well. I didn't know that he was so fast. So I think he's been like a really, really good find for Arsenal, and I think he's made that left back spot his own. Lewis Kelly, like I really thought Lewis Kelly would have been the starting left back this season because of how he came onto the scene last season. But Calafiori's just been absolutely insane for you guys.
It's funny because I think in the past you used to have the number 10 would be the floater, right? Would pop up
Yeah.
everywhere and float around the whole pitch. Now it's the team's left back who's a floater and pops up in the box and in central midfield and stuff. So yeah, he's been good. Lewis Kelly, I don't think he's a left back to be honest. I think if he does have a future, it's going to be in midfield. Then if he can crack Arsenal's midfield, but I think that's where his best position is. Probably as a six or part of a double pivot in the midfield.
Yeah, and like that's also something that you guys were like sort of missing. You guys got Supermendi in. You have somebody that can scan in front of him now. Like previously, you had Rice that would basically be box to box. You had Partey, who's more of like a bruiser type of a midfielder. Supermendi is just like he's just calm, collected. He scans. His passing is simple, and he sees gaps that nobody else does. So I think there's a lot of like moving pieces that have contributed to you guys' form this season, and yeah, I think it's like Arteta finally has the team that he's wanted for so long, and the league table shows for that. Cool. So we are going to move over to our preview now, and I was hoping that Riaz would have been here to offer his Spurs viewpoint, but
He's
unfortunately,
probably
Ziad,
sitting on
you're
a
going
fence
to have
somewhere.
to, yeah, and unfortunately, Ziad, you're going to have to channel your inner North London Spursy personality, if I can put it like that, to speak about Spurs a bit. And yeah, Sripad, you will be speaking about Chelsea. how do you think the confidence is of Chelsea going into this game, Sripad? Like, I mean, like we spoke about earlier, it's like a bit of a roller coaster whenever you watch their games. Spurs has been a bit more solid than Chelsea. They are a bit more strategic in the way that they are playing. Thomas Frank sets his team up based on the opposition that he's facing. So, knowing that there are weaknesses in the Chelsea team, how do you think Maresca might set his team up to sort of counteract whatever Thomas Frank is going to do?
I think Maresca made one mistake in his press conference yesterday where he said that he struggles against a back five. So I think straight away Thomas Frank will go with that. I think 3/4. Like, well, I don't know. He plays the three at the back formation. I think that's what he'll start with straight away. I'm not sure if Romero is back for them, but even if he's not, I think Van de Ven, he wouldn't even have a problem putting Palina back over there, because just to get that in while defending, to play with a five at the back, I think they will do it somehow. So that, and as for Chelsea's confidence, I think that will depend a lot on how tonight goes. Because if they get a good win at Wolves, I think with the which I think it's very likely going to be a B team today. So if that B team can perform well and none of the main players get minutes tonight, I think the confidence will be there going into the Tottenham game. But at the same time, if they don't do well, if even if there's no loss, if the main players have to come on, like Joao Pedro, Caicedo, and all have to come on, I think that will affect their fitness going into the Tottenham match, because it's a very quick turnaround. We're playing on Saturday, so that'll be a very tough situation for them. So I think the confidence part will depend a lot on tonight, but hopefully it's 3 points lane again.
Yeah, I don't think you really have to worry much about facing Wolves tonight. I think they are the and there's something that I didn't expect to happen this season. Like they just look like they are lost for answers. So I think you guys should get a comfortable win tonight. Siad, on the Spurs side, do you think that there's anything Thomas Frank could change from his setup? Do you think he'll go back five? Do you think you'll want to try and counteract all of this all-out attack that Chelsea has going on?
Look, his best players are, are his defenders. So if he can squeeze as many of them in his team, he'll probably try to do it. But I don't. I mean, they're playing at home, so I don't expect them to park the bus really. The problem for Spurs, I think, is scoring goals, and that sounds weird because they scored three over the weekend. But Mickey van der Ven scored two of them, right? And Pap Matissar scored the other one. So the goals are coming from the back and not really the forwards who have struggled a bit. I mean, I like Kudus, but unfortunately, he hasn't really kicked on, especially with Richarlison not getting a game. You got Odegaard playing there who looked lively, but that central striker seems to be missing for Spurs, you know, Solanke or Richarlison playing there. So I think maybe Richarlison will play there. The midfield, I saw Pep Matissar started on the bench this past weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Archie Gray didn't start, Bergvall didn't start. So there's a lot of things happening there that I don't really know. Maybe it just hasn't settled on a midfield. But I think Chelsea probably have the edge in this one, even though I do like Frank and how he manages. But I just don't see Spurs being able to score enough on Chelsea again, which sounds weird because Chelsea just lost to Sunderland. But yeah, I just don't see Spurs having enough in this game.
So I think that he hasn't really settled on a team for the most part because of the competitions he knows he's still going to be in. He's still playing Champions League, so he wants to make sure that he doesn't have a team filled with injured players. So he's going to keep on rotating, and for the most part, everybody that he includes in his starting lineup, he can count on. They haven't really been letting him down, like week in week out. There has been like the odd loss every now and then, but I think I saw somewhere in the chat that like people are saying that Frank is going to be too defensive minded or too negative and parking the bus and stuff like that. I mean, like if you're going to go up against a top four contender, you're going to make sure that you're going to try to not leak in any goals. So if you can score one goal and then park the bus and close up shop, then you walk away with the 3 points. That's all that matters. So whether a manager is negative or anything like that, like it doesn't really matter. I saw there was a article that came out about there was awards that happened about 3 weeks ago, and Ange Postecoglou was at the awards with Enzo Maresca, and this was just before the Champions League final against United, and Ange told Enzo that he's going to play five at the
Hey,
back.
if
He's
just
going
hold
to
on, man. You're getting ahead of yourself, brother. It was a Europa League final that United played
yeah,
in. Champions
yeah,
League
yeah.
final, you might
So,
have to go back to 1999.
so
So,
they he was going to play five at the back, and then it was a masterstroke essentially, because you just needed to score one goal, park the bus after that, and that was done. You secured the trophy, and then you went up against him against Forest in the game that essentially Postecoglou got sacked, and in that first half, um, he played five at the back, and Enzo didn't know what to do. It was only after halftime that Enzo probably told his players to like change mentality and everything like that, and that's when they got the win. But for that entire first half, they were set up to go against four, but Postecoglou came with five, and the Chelsea players didn't know what to do. So yeah, five at the back, negative. It's not always a bad thing. Uh, I wouldn't categorize that manager as negative. He knows what he needs to do. He is methodical enough. He's strategic enough. Um, but yeah, Ziad, any more from you before I go to the next part of
I
the
think
segment?
just with patterns, right? Or what I've noticed a lot is teams want to play on the counter, and if you look at how Spurs are set up with the pace they have out wide, they want those balls over the top that Kudus can run onto and Odebert and so on. And I think Chelsea also with Joao Pedro and those type of players, Gittins, Garnacho, if he gets a game, they want space to run. And what I'm trying to, and mostly in football, this is currently like a trend, right, where teams are playing more direct and so on. But it almost like cancels each other out in some way because everybody wants that space to run into, but the ball is being kept in the midfield, and there isn't actually that space often. So you're kind of hoping a team will attack so that there's space to exploit
Yeah,
and so on. So it's going to be interesting to see like that chess match between Spurs and Chelsea. Who's actually going to give in? Who's going to push their line a little bit higher? Who's going to give that space for the players to run into? And I think it's across the league. Something I've noticed that teams don't really want the ball. They actually prefer to have less of the ball. I mean, you can take United also as an example. They don't want possession. They want to sit, win the ball, and then hit it forward to Mbemo and Cunha and just thrive in that chaos of defenders backpedaling and the pace coming at
yeah,
you. So I find that quite interesting. That's one of the storylines for me of the season so far across the league.
Yeah, it's come
yeah.
to a
No,
position where everyone is happy to sit back and wait for the ball because they know if they move forward, they're leaving a lot of space at the back. So that is the issue right now in the league where it's like all across the board, like you said, almost all the teams are playing that way. It's like it's not a set piece FC anymore, it's a set piece league right now. Everyone is focused almost on scoring set piece goals, and the open play creativity is like proper easily I can say lacking this season. Most of the teams are not able to create as many chances as they would like.
Yeah, it's almost been coached out of them, right? It's like the tactics don't allow you to make a
yeah,
risky pass or do something creative. The tactics are play it to this guy, play this pattern. We need this guy on the ball more. So data is good, but yeah, I miss that individual flair, of the players. But this is how it goes in sport, man. Once you get all the data, you kind of figure everything out, and then it's down to who can extract the most out of that information, right? We've seen it in other sports. I think, if I'm not mistaken, all three of us watch basketball as well. So you see the analytics, and then no, you don't. Sorry, so I'm thinking of someone else
Yeah.
there. But you see the analytics behind it, and everyone just plays the numbers, and
yeah,
try and do what has a higher percentage of success and minimize risk, which again also sounds like we wouldn't be out of place at the corporate conference talking about minimizing risk and increasing the margins. But it seems that where the Premier League has gone, especially with the American ownership, because they bring those
Yeah,
professionals into their setup, right? You look at Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, all have some sort of American ownership and structure embedded into the game.
yeah, no, I completely agree with that. Like, there's a lot of the American sport being sort of funneled into European football, and I think that there's going to be a lot of rule changes within the next 10 years. That's going to sort of like try to align to what they have going on over there as well. So I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy about that, but I mean, like, it has changed, things change within the game. So it's stuff that you're just going to have to get used to. Sripad, for you, where do you think the game might be won or lost in this weekend? And just name a standout player who you think is probably going to take all the headlines for the weekend.
I'm hoping it's Liam Delap. If he starts, I think it'll be a very good thing for Chelsea because we'll need that strength against Danso. If not, I think it'll be Caicedo or Enzo again because midfield against Palina will be a tough battle. So whoever wins that, I think that will be a very very big decision. Sorry, not decision. Sorry, that'll have a big impact on the scoreline because Palina is in a very good form right now. So if Caicedo and Enzo can manage him, then I think Chelsea can dominate the midfield and that will pull Tottenham out of their lines.
Yeah. Do you think somebody like Alejandro Garnacho starts this weekend, or do you think that he's sort of run his chances into the ground a bit?
Garnacho will be up against Pedro Porro, right? So I'll
Yeah,
actually prefer Gittins over there. It'll be Gittins will be a better option because Pedro Porro tends to come out a bit, and I think Gittins is more direct, so I'll prefer him on the wing for the Tottenham game.
yeah. So off the back of that, yeah, like, if Tottenham are looking for a weakness in Chelsea's team, where do you think that they're going to be targeting?
We all know my battle that I was going to pick was going to be Vicario versus Sanchez. Whichever
Oh,
goalkeeper can just stay error free. Look, Vicario actually he had a good game and he's been in good form recently. I know how much Sripad loves Robert Sanchez, so I thought I'll just highlight that. But I think that's going to be the biggest thing for Chelsea, especially with the goal scoring form Van de Ven is in. Could be interesting with the crosses coming into the box and a lot of chaos there. Um, but yeah, that I think I agree with Sripad with the midfield. I think that's the biggest battle. Fernandes, Caicedo, Paulinho. I like Matassar. I think he's really good, covers a lot of ground. So it could be interesting in midfield. But I'm going for the goalies. Whoever makes the least errors.
do you think this is a game that Xavi Simons sort of announces himself to the Premier League? I mean, it's one of the bigger games of the season so far that they've played. So I mean, the stage could be set for him to sort of um, put his
It's
name up in lights.
Yeah, but it's hard, man, because of what we spoke about earlier with the patterns. It kind
Yeah,
of negates a player like Simons who needs freedom to just pop out anywhere, and he needs players who are making runs that he can put those balls through too, right? Or the freedom to dribble, because a lot of times these guys are not encouraged to dribble. They have to get the ball, progress it, and then move it wide,
yeah,
right? To so when Kudus running onto it, whoever's playing on the other wing. So as much as I'd like to say yes, it could be. I highly doubt it because I think he's kind of been limited in his role and hasn't been given the freedom to express himself.
that's fair.
Another
That's
issue
fair. And
for
then
Simmons this week will be he'll be up against Reece James. So and Reece is not going to be the fullback who's going to be running up and down the channel. So he'll be staying back. So that will cut off a lot of space for what Xavi Simmons needs to create all these chances. So that's
well, we
another.
we don't know that because Enzo Maresca might play Reece James in midfield and Malo Gusto at right back. he interchanges them so often that like sometimes Gusto is in midfield and Reece James is at right back or vice versa. So you actually don't know what you're going to come up against with Enzo Maresca sometimes.
That's also true. That is also true.
Off the back of that, Sripad, give me your prediction for this weekend.
Chelsea 2-1.
Who scores the winner?
Ah, Enzo. Enzo scores the winner, or Joao Pedro ends his drought. One of them.
Nice one. Ziad, what are you going for?
In honor of Riaz, I will go 2-2. Sit on the fence, add some goals.
I have to be a bit different here. I'm going for a Spurs 3-1 win over
Yo,
Chelsea this weekend.
that's
I'm going
extreme.
for a bit
But
of an
okay.
emphatic performance for them. They are at home at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, so maybe that can give them some extra sort of backing to do some more things. But yeah, I think it could be one of the most dominant performances, or I could be talking nonsense. Let us know in the chat what you think is the
I,
final score going to be over the weekend. And while you are telling us your scores, Sripad, where can the people find you on social media?
I am false winger everywhere. Instagram, Twitter. I don't know every social account that comes. I always create it. I just save the username there, but I don't use it. I only use Twitter. I don't use anything else.
Nice one. Ziad, where can the people find you and tell them what you do on the daily basis on the Sportycast account?
yeah, yeah, you can find me. I think at the moment I'm most active on Threads, having fun on there. Yeah, at the moment there's a lot of other sport going on. So in honor of Sripad again, Chelsea's ownership group also own the Los Angeles Dodgers. So the World Series is on at the moment. It's 2-2. So best of three basically to the end against the Toronto Blue Jays. Very interesting. So quite enjoying that. The NBA season just kicked off. So games are coming thick and fast. You got the NFL, so covering a lot of that. NFL going into the midway point at the moment. Other sports a bit quiet. Golf's a bit quiet. Tennis. Oh, and cricket. Obviously, the Women's World Cup is happening at the moment. So yeah, lots going on. All the different sports that we cover over here. Um, yeah.
Yeah, and just on that, South Africa made it to the final of the Women's World Cup tonight. So congratulations to them. Hopefully they can come clutch in that final. Um, but I don't know how likely that could be, but we are going to be behind them anyways. I'm at AF Parker 642, not 342, 642 on all social media platforms, and like Siad said, at Sportycast on all social media platforms. Wherever you find a social media platform, just type Sportycast and you will find us. Like this video, subscribe to our channel, please share this video, tell everybody you know about what we do over here, and join us in the live chats. It's as you saw today, it's very active. It's like people have some very interesting opinions over there. So yeah, come on over, join us. It's a really good time over here. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for joining me tonight. Thank you so much, Sripad, for coming on the channel again. Ziad for hopping in, always appreciated. But yeah, I'm a 4343. Catch you guys next week.